So, good day, everyone. We are going to talk about the histology of the uterus, and this is a concept map that I've created, combining all the concepts, all the information with regards to the histology of the uterus. The uterus has its parts and has its layers. Now, for its parts, it can be divided into fundus, body, isthmus, and cervix. Now, for its layers, we have three layers: the endometrium or the mucosa. So, what is the epithelium of the endometrium? It is simple columnar epithelium, just like in the SI or small intestines. And there's also presence of secretory glands over here. Now, how about for the myometrium? So, it involves hypertrophy and hyperplasia during pregnancy. Now, how about for the perimetrium? It can either be serosa or adventitia. Now, for the endometrium, we can divide it into two layers. We have the functional layer and the basal layer. Now, for the basal layer, let's differentiate the two. It's unaffected during menstruation. Basal layer, unaffected during menstruation, has short, straight arteries and straight uterine glands. So we can think of it like, oh, she's so basic because she's straight. Anyway, for the functional layer, it's loud off during menstruation, whereas in the basal layer, it's unaffected. So for the functional layer, also has helicin coiled arteries and coiled uterine glands. Now, there are two cycles that affect the functional layer. Or we have the ovarian cycle, and then we have the endometrial cycle. Now let's talk about the ovarian cycle. It has three phases: the follicular phase, which is affected by the FSH or follicle stimulating hormone and development of the follicles. This phase involves the development of the follicles. Now, for the second phase, we have the luteal phase or ovulation. Um, it is by the luteinizing hormone or LH, and it involves the formation of the corpus luteum. So pretty easy, right? Because formation of corpus luteum, luteal phase. Now, thirdly, under the ovarian cycle, we have the menstrual phase. So this phase is characterized by decreased LH and progesterone. So menstrual phase. Now let's talk about the endometrial cycle. So just like the ovarian cycle, it has three phases: the proliferative phase, which is characterized by reepithelialization and straight glands and arteries. So secondly, there's the secretory phase. It involves further coiling of arteries and uterine glands, and fibroblasts secrete glycogen and fat in the secretory phase. So fibroblasts secrete glycogen and fat. Now for the menstrual phase, it involves desquamated vasoconstriction of the helicin arteries, and the basal layer remains. Now, let's talk about the myometrium now that we're done with the endometrium. So, there are different layers. So, we have the stratum vasculare. This is pretty easy to memorize because highly vascularized vasculare circular layer. And the three layers of smooth muscles, we have inner layer, outer layer, and middle layer. So which one of the three layers are circular? It's the middle layer. Whereas in the inner layer and outer layer, they are longitudinal.